Hi, welcome back to Public Administration, and this is Module 8. This one's broken up into two parts, so we're going to call this Module 8.1. And this week, actually, we will be split into 2 weeks, and we have spring break. So I want to have our discussions basically end this week, and we'll start everything up again once we're back from spring break. So this will give us time to I guess, reboot and to start evaluating how you want to work on your paper, which we're going to start working on after spring break. But I will have the Dropbox open for you now, so if you feel like doing a little bit extra work, you can turn it in a little bit early. So this module is broken into two parts, and so this week, actually, we're just going to really wrap up last week's discussion, and I will, you can go ahead and read your chapter, but I won't make the quiz available until after spring break. So first off this week, you're going to read your classmates' posts on pick a state and the economic case for tax fairness, and then respond with at least 6 different responses over the course of course, 3 different days. And like I said before, you can go ahead and do more than 3 days. The whole point of this is to have a lot of discussions. So if you take in my face-to-face classes, I do this in my face-to-face classes too. I do parent chairs, and I have these small group discussions to make some more deep learning, and so you can apply this material to a conversation. So you just really have to do that, and I do encourage you to read ahead, so read the 7th chapter of the textbook. And this week there is no Dropbox quiz or initial post due, so you just have to do your responses. But I do want you to think of an administrative problem for your paper. As you can tell by now, a major part of public administration is problem solving. So one thing we have decided is we use politics as our way of solving problems and getting things done, and public administration is how we implement our policy. So you can apply this to anything, no matter what your area of interest is. You shouldn't have a hard time finding a way to apply the public administration problem solving to that. And so it's nice. You get to actually look at solving problems. And lastly, I want you to enjoy your spring break. So take some time, relax. I will have all the grades posted. I do apologize for being a little behind on having my grades up, but I will have those done. So you'll go into midterms knowing exactly where you stand, and so everything will be graded, fairly soon. And looking at the module, of course, there's nothing up, but I do have the Dropbox in case you want to get this done early. It's not, like I said, you could start working on it after spring break too, but this will be up now. And we're going to use, we're going to break this up into increments, so you do remember incrementalism, for budgeting and for decision making. And this is how things get done. So at first you're going to identify a problem, and this Dropbox assignment will be the beginning part of your paper. So you're going to have these Dropboxes that together you can have them come together and have the framework for your paper. So it shouldn't be very difficult to get that done. But I want you to really think and identify a particular administrative problem. And as you've seen in this class, it can range, from drinking water all the way down to commanding troops and launching spaceships and cleaning streets and getting snow off of roads. There's a ton of administrative problems you can address. But I want you to make this interesting. One thing that's fun in school is to take a class and personalize it. So I do encourage you to personalize this to an interest you have, and have fun, because we're going to have these written, and then you can go ahead and I want you to take something away from this class, and the best way to do that is to put some meaningful work out. So this is just going to be a starting point, and a couple of paragraphs will be fine. You can go ahead and refine this as you go on, but we are working in increments, and that is how things get done. People complain about incrementalism, but it's the way the world works. It's also the way smart people solve problems. They identify the problem, and then they work on fixing it. So that's all you're going to work on at this first part. And again, it's not due until March 18th. So you're going to have all of this week, then all of next week is your spring break, and then I'll put new assignments up, including this Dropbox. But it is up early if you want to tackle it early. Meanwhile, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me, and we can discuss. But I do want you to remember that these problems can be very wide-ranging. And so you've had some discussions before that I know I've touched on some administrative problems. And I hope you notice that these problems they don't operate in vacuums. Like most other things in school, these ideas can be applied and looked at in other areas. So these aren't occurring in a silo of just public administration. As you've seen, you guys had a discussion on working with equal pay and work. That was just due. And in looking at that, there is the comparable worth argument that gets discussed. When I was in grad school, we used a case of a trucking company to discuss this, and the truckers were making a lot of money and the dispatchers weren't. Yet it was pointed out that the dispatchers were probably more important for the truckers to make their money than anybody else in the chain, because they were able to seamlessly get these people to pick up loads and deliver them and have them avoid problems and be more efficient. And there is a value to that, but it's not always shown in people's pay. And that is a real administrative problem. It's a real issue. There's also, if you want to get a little more in depth with that, you can look at intersectional racism, and you can see how women, especially women of certain minority groups, are earning a lot less money than white men are in the workforce. And again, this is an administrative problem. You want to have a good workplace, and you want to have an agency be a good agency to work for. So you want to address this kind of thing. So you can really hit this from a social justice issue too. And I do encourage you to go that route if that's an area you're interested in. If you're interested in business, there is tons of overlap between public administration and the business world. So you have a lot of different ways you can go with this. So again, feel free to reach out to me if any questions. And like I said, this week will be pretty laid back. I want you to really take the spring break and use it as a time to unwind and prepare for the next half of the semester for all your classes. But like I said, I will have grades up, and so you can come back and check on those throughout. All right, thank you.